Hi, it's Barb from Off the Shelf, and I'm here with the first video edition of Barb's book reviews. Those of you who pay attention to my blog, those four of you, know that every Friday of the first Friday of every month, I review the books that I read the month before. Today, I'm going to go and do a video version as well as the written version. As you know, I am not real comfortable on video, so I am hoping that you'll bear with me. This is my first time doing it by myself, and I'm a little nervous. I may screw up with the technology. Let's fingers crossed. Today, I've got three terrific poolside summer reads for you. The first one is Bloomsbury Girl by Natalie Jenner. This was such a charming book. It follows three women right after post-war London who work at a bookshop called the Bloomsbury Books. There's Vivian, who is the wisecracking, aspiring writer who's mourning her dead fiance. There's Grace. She's a single mom in a problematic marriage with a husband who's got severe post-traumatic stress disorder. And then there is Evie, who is a holdover from Jenner's debut book, The Jane Austen Society. She joins Bloomsbury Books because she's on a secret literary mission. From the start, you really figure out very quickly that Bloomsbury Books is an archaic relic. It's ruled by men. They don't think much of women. And the women themselves, these three heroines, although they don't realize it at first, represent progress in the future. At first, they're very timid. They are easily shot down when they have ideas. But little by little, over the course of the book, they find their voice and they become a force to be reckoned with. Jenner does a terrific job of portraying the chauvinism of that time. She knows her research. Her knowledge of literature is first rate. And she does a really good job with the three romantic subplots that are going on. She makes the people very real. They're very human and very likable. So overall, it's a terrific book that I highly recommend if you enjoy books about strong women, if you enjoy books that are set in England, and enjoy books about books. You will love this one. Our second book that we have is called Beyond the Moonlit Sea by Julian MacLean. All right, so check out this plot. Olivia Hamilton's perfect life is ripped apart when her husband's plane disappears over the Bermuda Triangle. She's left widowed and pregnant and has to find the strength to rebuild her life. Okay, that sounds like your typical women's fiction novel, right? Wrong. The plane crash is just the start, okay? After that, she starts peeling back the layers, going back and forth in time, and you find out that Dean Hamilton wasn't so perfect. Olivia's life wasn't so perfect. There's a lot of secrets that she didn't know about. And just when you think you've got it figured out, she throws in this giant twist that has you gasping aloud. The whole reason I got this book, I borrowed it actually from Donna Allward. She brought it with her to Clearwater last month. And she kept gasping loudly when she was reading it. Like you'd be sitting there trying to read and she's going, oh! So I had to borrow it. And I read it on the way home. And I did the same thing. It's really well written. It's a beautiful book about someone picking their life up. But there's such a nice thread of mystery through it that she keeps you guessing the whole way. Nothing's predictable. That's what I really liked about this book. It's out by Amazon, and it's going to be out June 14th. I highly recommend it. I suggest you get it on Kindle. There is a paperback version, but it's mostly by Kindle. Beyond the Moonlit Sea, you will not regret buying it. And then finally, the winner of the month. If you listen to Off the Shelf, you know we loved this book. I mean, loved this book. By Her Own Design is by Piper Hughley. It's the story of Anne Lowe, who was the fashion designer to the Social Register. She was one of the first high-end Black designers, and she never got the credit that she deserved. From the beginning, let me back up just a minute because I'm a little bit confusing myself. She never got recognition. She was a genius. Hughley takes you from Lowe's childhood in rural Alabama at the turn of the century. You hear my clock? There you go. Because it's me. to her final years when she was finally recognized. It took almost 60 years before anyone gave her credit for the work she did, even though she designed dresses for people like Olivia de Havilland and Jackie Bouvier Kennedy. It's very clear, very early on, like I'm from page 1, that this woman was a genius. I mean, you don't just go from being the granddaughter of a slave to being one of the top designers out of nothing. But when you read what she went through, she was a child bride. She was maligned, and the racism she faced throughout her life, it's amazing. And it's a testimony to her grit and determination that she became as great as she was. If you want to read a book about what it's like, or what it was like to be a Black woman in the South before civil rights, you want to read this book. Not only is she inspirational because of what she achieved, she is inspirational because of what she faced and overcame. And as a white woman, I learned more about racism and more about the obstacles that Black people have faced in this last century than I have in any history book. So again, loved it. Excuse me, it's out June 7th, next Tuesday. Get it, buy it. I want to see this book on the USA Today list. It is really that good a book. I mean, as a writer, I had serious I'm not worthy vibes. And I don't get that often, but I did for this. Piper is a genius. Okay, so those are my 3 recommendations this month. Bloomsbury Girls, Beyond the Moonlight Sea, and Buy Your Own Design. If you join us on Tuesday, we'll be back. Renee and I are going to be here with our guest, Emily York, who's also known as the Book Distiller, and we're going to be discussing Christy Woodson Harvey's The Wedding Veil. Until then, enjoy your reading, and I'll talk to you soon. See you later.